Good evening, class. Across the country, classes such as auto shop, wood shop, and other job-related classes are being cut from high schools in favor of more academically focused classes. Classes that focus on giving students job skills are commonly called career technical education courses. And these some opponents to these courses argue that they are becoming obsolete and ineffective at giving students job skills to continue on with either their position in the workforce or going on to higher education focusing on the things that they're learning in their classes. That leads me to my point that career technical education has a positive impact on the careers of students enrolled in such programs. I'd like to support that claim with several points. First of all being that students in career technical education have more successful careers compared to others who have not had the same experiences. Secondly, that career technical education increases high school graduation rates as well as a motivation for continuing higher education. And thirdly, that career technical education offers resources for students going into the workforce. So for my first point, that students in career technical education are more successful in their careers. A paper written by Karen Rubin titled "The Actions Against Poverty," she states that vocational education, or career technical education, students had significantly higher annual wage earnings than those who were not part of such programs. This is supported by another paper by Kathleen Vale titled "The Technology Drives Career Technical Education and High School Reform." And she says that students in career technical education, in a study they did, academy students had 18% higher earnings than the control group of students 4 years after they graduated. So from this information, we can see that students who are part of career technical education programs are able to get the job skills they need to advance quickly in their fields, rather than coming out of high school only having the basic skills such as math, biology, physics, and instead they have a more applicable education. My second point, that career technical education actually increases high school graduation rates. There was a study done by a man named Stephen Plank about the high school dropout and the role of career technical education. He found that a combination of one career technical education course for every 2 academic courses was associated with the lowest risk of dropout in high school students. So by having more career-based programs and classes for students, they were able to find more things that they were interested in and gave them a reason to go to high school instead of dropping out or trying to go at it on their own. So they were able to develop skills in school to go out and either further their career or through college or go right into the workforce. And many students who participated in their career technical education program at their schools tended to follow the same path in college. Kathleen Vale, who I mentioned earlier, stated in her article that career academies don't steer kids away from college. They encourage them to go to college, grad school, and professional schools. More academy grads go to 4-year colleges than the general track. And this shows that technical education students exposes students to the things that they would be actually applying in the workforce and gives them more of a feel of what work would actually be like and the skills that they'd be applying, rather than the general math, physics, and biology. Some common career technical education courses include like nursing, auto shops, and intro to engineering courses and journalism, and some other courses. And those give students kind of an introduction to what they would be doing in those fields, and they can decide whether or not they want to continue to pursue that field or go into something else entirely. My third point, that career technical education offers resources for students going directly into the workforce. So according to the 2013 U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 65.9% of high school students went on to colleges and universities, but those other 34% went right into the workforce. And with the help of career technical education and allowing them to have skills already in high school, they don't need the extra necessary training once they get out into the workforce. If they go out and work for an auto shop, they don't need to be taught how to take tires off or what different tools are. They're able to have those skills ready going into it. So as I've shown you with my several points, career technical education has a positive impact on the careers of students in such programs. Thank you.
All right. At the beginning of the speech, in the introduction, you make a claim that the tech education classes are being cut, and I didn't really hear any evidence on that. It would be advisable, for instance, to demonstrate more controversy on the subject to show that these kinds of programs are offered less frequently, that once upon a time we had X, Y, and Z program like you talk about, automotive technologies or other kinds of skill-based technologies that were taught, and the infrequency with which they're taught in the schools now, I think that would build up the controversy a little bit more. You do clearly identify your proposition. I don't know that anybody has any opposition to the notion that there are benefits from this technical education. The question is whether or not the benefits are long-term, worthwhile, significant. And there's a little bit of inconsistency between your second and third point, because on the second point you mentioned how this is really kind of a stepping stone, and it really does encourage people to go on and do additional study and go to colleges and grad schools and all those kinds of things. But on the third point, you're saying they go right into the workplace and start becoming productive at that particular point. So I'm not sure whether or not these are mutually exclusive, but they certainly seem like they're mutually exclusive. And the kinds of developmental technologies that we're faced with in the future, are those the kinds of things that can be effectively taught in schools? Like I said, the old model is maybe the different kinds of shop classes that people had. The new models might need to be about computer programming sorts of things. Do we not have those kinds of things in the schools? Are they declining? That seems to me almost counterintuitive. And like I said, I don't know that anybody says that these programs don't work, but there's a question about what's the best use of the students' time and energy. And I think that argument needs to be developed a little bit more, that the schools, for instance, are not directing enough people into these programs, and maybe we're making a mistake by not emphasizing them as much. I think that's really where you're going to find there's a little bit more controversy on this. I thought you did a nice job presenting some statistical information about salaries and about productivity. You did an okay job citing your information, although there were a couple of times when I thought I was getting information and it wasn't really being given a specific source citation, but you did have 2 or 3 specific quotes, like I said, but there were a few places where I got information. I know it came from someplace, but it wasn't as clearly cited as it could be. All right, well, you all have been very patient tonight. We managed to get through everybody that was scheduled, or at least was here. Hopefully, we'll be